I think the AFC playoffs are not going to be the same old story. And what I mean by that is I think that we're going to get some fresh teams. We're going to get some new quarterbacks, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, I think the last, what do you want to call it, 5 years of the AFC playoffs have basically been, okay, well, when is insert Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen going to meet up with Patrick Mahomes, and when is that going to happen? And look, I still do think that is a compelling story. Like, can Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen get to the Super Bowl? Can they get through Kansas City? And like, if that's the way this goes, I think it's not going to be the Bengals. We know that. Like, the same old story is the Bengals aren't going to make the playoffs for the 3rd straight year, I believe, now at this point. So that actually is kind of becoming a same old story, whole separate conversation. But these other guys, I do think that we will get some level of new faces deeper into the postseason for this team, because I just look at Buffalo, Kansas City, Baltimore right now, and I see chinks in the armor for all 3 of those teams, to the point that an organization like New England, like Denver, like Indianapolis, I don't know about the Chargers and Jaguars, who are the 6th and 7th seed right now if things ended today, or any of those teams. But I think we could get,
have you seen them block?
Chargers season is legitimately pissing me off. So I don't really want to talk about it, but because it's pissing me off. So I feel like I was so right about that team for so many reasons, and then just classic. And I'm not even usually the guy that's buying into the Chargers hype in years past. Like, this is the Chargers year. This is the Chargers year. Like the typical media narrative.
Yeah.
But this year I was like, I think this team would be really good. And of course they charged it in the way that they always do. Yeah. And well, who gives a shit about the process? Who cares? The results are going to be the same old thing that it always is, which is a disappointing season for this team. So super annoyed at that. But again, regardless, I think we're going to see some new faces, new storylines. Drake May obviously is the biggest fish right now. I think he's going to be a big part of the playoffs. Just the New England Patriots as a whole. I love watching that team. I think they're so well coached on both sides of the ball. I think they're really disciplined. I think they also have matchup advantages that they can take. Like Josh McDaniels is the offensive coordinator right now. He's doing such a great job to put defenders in conflict with everything. We saw multiple examples of that in the Jets game. We've seen it all season long, and Drake May is awesome. Denver, obviously, we'll see what Bo Nix, the fatal flaw, Bo Nix, we'll see what he can become. But I mean, he had I would say a better game last week than the week before. That's for sure. And I think that their team as a whole is good. And then Indianapolis, kind of same storyline there. We'll see what Daniel Jones is when it gets to crunch time, but I think the team is really good. So again, this is all usually famous last words when we're talking about the AFC playoffs, and these little fascination teams get blown away by the wayside at the end of the year, and it's just the same old Chiefs, Bills, Ravens. But I don't know. It's a mix of a take that I'm not just writing in pen that these teams that we think we know are gonna get it right, and I'm also holding out a little bit of optimism for these newer faces here. So I think we'll see some new faces, fresh teams in the AFC playoffs this year.
Yeah, even going into the season, like when we were doing prediction stuff, where it was kind of the AFC felt so chalky that it was kind of like, all right, this feels weird. I hate when everything's some chalk or everybody picks the same team. That's when the NFL just does its thing and goes, what you think you know, but you have no idea. This is the life of the NFL season. But no, I don't want to spoil my next point, even though I've already hinted at it, but I even was going through like what the current AFC contenders are just based on betting odds. And number one right now was the Bills. But to me, it's like all these AFC teams are just so flawed, where I think, yes, the AFC has the best quarterbacks. There's a couple in the NFC, don't get me wrong, but it's the NFCs their teams are so much more complete. Like, so I would just mention all the teams that were in top 10 this, top 10 that. It's mostly NFC teams. It's mostly, it's Rams, Seahawks, Packers, Lions. Even the Bears are getting up there. Those are all NFC teams. We got the Eagles, whose defense is rolling right now. NFC. AFC, it's where like, okay, we go to the Bills. Love their run game. Josh Allen's Josh Allen. They got a Joey Bosa pass rush, but the defense is bad. I know they can do some cool stuff. They did something to get the Chiefs. They'll get turnovers. It's not a good defense. And it's just like, no, it's just one of those where it's just so damning. But the other side of this argument is Well, nobody's perfect in the AFC. So really which is going to be so much fun to keep track on these last 2 months. And once we get to playoff time, because then it's like really going to be matchup based as opposed to elite teams, like where every team has this weakness is like, all right, can they pick at that? Can they adjust to that? Do they have data to adjust to that? You go down the list, Colts, their run game, they have an explosive, awesome passing game. They have a smart defense, but I don't think the defense is very good. It's more like middle of the pack, even if I think they have good moments, but they might get the Lou Anarumo kind of bump in playoff time because he's such a great game planner. And Daniel Jones is always kind of on pumpkin watch. Like whether that's fair to him or not, like you just don't know when he's going to crap out, just because I haven't seen it before. And I think that's fair. Broncos, amazing defense, good old line. Bo Nix is kind of the weakness. Yeah, he did have a better game. He did. He had a much more consistent game, especially against pressure, I thought, against the Chiefs. He actually was getting the ball out rather than doing his kind of footwork parallel to the line of scrimmage stuff. He actually was getting the ball out. And I was like, good, get the ball in play. Just get the ball in play. Run game's fine, but not great. You can see kind of the weakness of RJ Harvey. He's explosive, but he can kind of has some inconsistent runs, I think.
Yeah.
That's
losing
why
Dobbins is tough.
Best with the Dobbins. Yeah. And it wasn't the greatest run game in the world anyways, but at least it was fine. And that's where I now think it's going to be even a little bit more boom busty, which, it's not a total strength. We'll see. Ravens are improving. And I got to rewatch the Browns game. I'll be open and saying I haven't watched that game in all 22 yet. But they have Lamar. I know he had a weird game on Sunday where he's trying to do a little too much. The defense is improving. I want to see how much, but it is improving. It's not the worst in the league. It's more of like an average, at least maybe above average unit. But I do think the run game has taken back where it's still fine to good, but it's not otherworldly like it's been in the past. And then the Patriots kind of don't trust the run game completely, even though it's getting better. And I don't trust the defense completely. And they just lost Milton Williams for a few weeks. So just wide open AFC. So what you're saying is that it's not the same old story because any of these teams have a chance and any of these teams have a chance to make a run.
Yeah. So ultimately, maybe it does come back to just the same old, but it feels wide open. And so my
I'm trying not to spoil my point here.
I know, but let's get into it. Cause I think you basically essentially just with your next one, refute everything, not refute, but put some doubt into what I just said, which is just the little optimistic part of my heart wants to believe that we're going to see something new this year. And maybe that's where that's coming from.